This morning, I heard a fascinating case. Did you know that 1/3 of the couples in this country don't share their phone passwords with each other? Trust was one of the big issues the couple I met today brought to divorce court.
Divorce court is now in session.
I have here before me Neffiteria Chambers and Terrance Brown. The two of you have been together for 4 years. You do not want to be together anymore. You have come to me to resolve some issues you have in breaking apart, and we will talk about that momentarily. But I will start with you, Mrs. Chambers. Why don't you tell me what the primary problem is in your relationship with Mr. Brown?
Well, Judge, for the last 9 years on and off, we just been going in circles. I feel like I'm very temporary. I'm not worth keeping. I've never received anything from him to make me think that I'm worth keeping. And even if we swap out one problem, we get 3 back.
Yeah. You said something very interesting. You feel temporary. Why do you feel temporary?
Well, Judge, it's like this. I mean, from bills, all the bills being in my name, to him.
Do you live together?
Yes, ma'am.
For how long?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. Okay, so all the bills are in your name.
Yes.
Go ahead.
He keeps his things packed in a duffel bag instead of, you know, put out with the rest of the clothes or in the dresses or whatever. Things like that.
Do you keep your clothes in a duffel bag?
Yes, ma'am.
And the purpose of that would be what?
Wait for her to kick me out.
Now, are you waiting for her to kick you out, or are you reminding her that you can leave at a moment's notice? Which is it?
Both. I say both.
That's deep.
What other things does he do that makes you feel temporary?
Considering we've been together on and off for 9 years, I've never got any type of jewelry. The only time he's ever even tried to pretend to commit to me is when he knows I'm done with him, and he might bring up marriage because he knows that makes me all warm and fuzzy on the inside. I don't feel like he's gonna keep me. I mean, after all these years, he could have kept me. I wanted to marry him before, and he wasn't ready. And I mean, now I have the 2 kids, and the kids love him. They look at him like their dad.
Are they his kids?
No. I had those children when me and him split up while I was in the military.
Oh, okay. Okay, Mr. Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you want to have a permanent relationship with Ms. Chambers?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
You do?
Yes, ma'am.
What's keeping you from committing?
We just have trust issues.
Tell me why you don't trust her. Or is it that she doesn't trust you?
She don't trust me, but I don't trust her either. I mean, it's been back and forth for years. It's just
so what has she done that makes you believe she's untrustworthy?
I would say, well, this one time she told me this guy was her cousin or whatever, and it turned out to be somebody she was dating.
Can I reply to that?
You most certainly can.
Judge, my cousin passed away back in November 2013.
Uh-huh.
And one of my friends that I've known longer than I've known Mr. Brown came to my house and was sitting outside my house with me. And just so happened he got off early that night. Knowing Mr. Brown's temper, I was protecting him and myself by telling him that was my cousin, because we didn't have any neighbors. There would be nobody to stop that fight. It just would have got really ugly. So I told him that at the time. But I came clean to him before me and him got back together the last time. And that's the only reason he knows about that, because I came clean. He's punishing me because I came clean to him.
So it was just a guy sitting on the porch with her? That's it?
Nah, they was in the car together. When I pulled her, I got off of work early to come console her about her cousin. So she said she didn't have anybody to talk to.
You don't think that she was making out in a car with a guy right after her cousin's funeral, do you? How much sense does that make?
Yes. I mean, I don't care what they was doing. The fact was, it was another man that I was supposed to be housed. They was in the yard together.
The house, all the bills were in my name, Judge.
They can't. So she can't have a guy around the house when you're not there? That's against the rules?
That's against the rules. She wouldn't want me to have a female around the house while she was going. If she was going to work or anything like that, she wouldn't want no other female at the house. She don't even want me around females. I can't even talk to her.
You know, when you're married and you trust somebody, the physical presence of somebody of the opposite sex should not set you into orbit. I don't know if relationships have become so fleeting and temporary and meaningless that you know, just the presence of the opposite sex is going to blow everything up. But man, y'all need to do a little better than that. You say on the financial front, he is totally irresponsible.
Oh, Judge.
Why not?
I don't work. I go to school and I get disability from the VA. I do bring in a majority of the money in the household, and I have no problem paying my rent. But when it comes down to paying the rent, the car note, the car insurance, the light bill, and the bits and pieces for the children, the clothes and things like that, I can't handle all the bills except for his one that he hardly pays, and then be able to do for my children. I have no clothes at home because all my money goes towards my children when I have extra money. Basically, it's my house because every time the going gets tough, he walks out with his duffel bag.
Not true.
I
disagree.
Mr. Brown, do you contribute to the household that you live in?
Yes, ma'am.
And what kind of bills do you pay?
I pay the light bill and probably put food in the house. You know, we have to survive.
Do you think that's a fair distribution of financial responsibility? You're both living in the same place. She's paying the rent and the gas and this, that, and then you're gonna show up with the light bill. Do you think you're really, you think you're really pulling your weight?
Wait, before all this, she used to stay with me, and I had all the bills in my name before. So it was the same way.
But was she helping you pay them?
She didn't pay nothing. She stayed there basically for free. Her and her 2 kids, they basically stayed there for free. I only was able to keep the place for 4 months because I didn't have any help.
Oh, please let me reply, Judge.
Quickly.
All right. Me and Terrance, since we've been together these last 3 years, we've had 3 different places. We stayed 2 years in the place that all the bills were in my name. We only stayed in the apartment that he was paying for 3 months. And within those 3 months, my things got thrown outside. I had to call the police so they could explain to him that he can't put me out on the drop of a dime. He's thrown my stuff down the stairs, just doing all kinds of things. He told me he didn't want me there. And that's why I walked out from there. When he got evicted from there, if I could pay all the bills at my place, he could pay all the bills at his place. If you're going to treat me like that and tell me to get out, I'm going to save my money and find somewhere to go for me and my kids. I can't be living in a car with 2 children. When I go through his phone, he knows that it's time for a periodic check. I don't mind. You leave it in there, you better not lock it because I'm going to wake you up. What's your code?
Have you been living together for years but find that splitting up is as complicated as getting a divorce? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. I understand that she takes your phone and calls all the numbers in the phone. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Who is she calling and what is she saying when she gets them?
It's just any random number. If it's a phone number that I don't know, she'll call it back and see who it is.
Because you're worried that it might be a woman?
No, Judge. He gets amnesia. If the phone number is in his phone, he must know who it is, like he just said. If he don't know who it is, I call it back. Yes, ma'am, I do call it back. And if it's a female, he better get on the phone and talk to him and tell me who it is. Because a female's not going to talk to me. He doesn't. Look, he goes through my phone as well. Only thing about it, he sneaks when he goes through my phone. When I go through his phone, he knows that it's time for a periodic check. I don't mind. You leave it in there, you better not lock it because I'm going to wake you up. What's your code? Like, and I'm just being honest. I can only be me, and I'm being honest. That periodic check is going on, the random inspections. I go through pockets. Whatever I have to go through, I'm going to get an answer. And that had I not been finding things, I wouldn't be going through those pockets or that phone.
Mr. Brown, is she finding things in the pocket and on the phone?
She found one phone number in my pocket.
Same number 3 times.
Same number 3 times?
Same number 3 times, yes, ma'am.
So you were fooling around, weren't you?
No, ma'am.
You weren't fooling around?
No, ma'am, not at all.
Now, I've been waiting for somebody to say this because I thought it would be something somebody would raise, especially you, Mr. Brown. Ms. Chambers comes out here and says she feels like she's temporary, and she gives me some very good reason and explanations for that. But don't you think that part of the problem for the reason of your temporary feeling is that you're married to somebody else?
Well, Judge,
How committed could he get?
Okay, first of all, the first time that we were supposed to get married was before I went to the Navy, before I had any kids, before all of those things. And he wasn't ready. When I came back with the children, he already knew I was married. He knew what he was getting into before. I took the first foot forward and I got the divorce papers drawn up. I felt like I had no support in it. It made me feel really awkward. I know that might sound weird, but I'm afraid to get divorced, and then he's still gonna walk out on me, and I'm gonna have less than what I had before. Right now, I kind of feel accomplished. At least I did that. It don't mean anything.
That is the most convoluted, bizarre response I've ever heard in here, and I've heard some deep ones. You're married to somebody, you don't see him, you don't know where he is, but you find some comfort in that while you're still worried that this man views you as temporary, so you don't want to give up that marriage because you don't think this guy's going to stay with you. What kind of sense does that make?
He hasn't showed me any type of commitment. I'm afraid.
Afraid of what?
That he's gonna leave me out of the water.
It couldn't get any worse. He's got a duffel bag by the door. He doesn't pay any bills. You got to do a random check on him every month to make sure that he's got no phone numbers. How much worse could it be?
It's the fear of the unknown. He doesn't tell them why he got kicked out. He tells them why he's mad at me because of what I said during the argument. So they think I'm the bad guy. Everybody thinks that I'm this money-hungry heifer.
If you would like your case to be heard on divorce court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Divorce Court. Now, I just went down the rabbit hole and into a hall of mirrors with this woman over here trying to figure out what it is she's trying to get done. So I'm going to switch gears and try to get to you. Why are you in this relationship? Why are you living with a person who's so sketchy that you have to have a duffel bag by the door? What's in it for you?
I mean, we've been together for a long time. Like, when I first met her, like, she was having family problems and stuff, didn't have nowhere to go. So, I mean, since that day, we've been together, like, every day ever since.
Well, what about those kids? What are they seeing? How do you feel about what they're seeing?
I mean...
What do you think they deserve?
We trying to raise them like a family. I mean, it's...
Do you love them like they're your own?
Yes, ma'am.
If it weren't for the kids, would you still be around?
That's a hard question to answer. I'm still iffy about it.
You two can't seem to separate. Have you ever thought of trying to get along in a better way? You seem to keep making the same mistakes over and over and over again without trying anything new. Like looking through the phones and his pockets, it's not helping anything because it's not getting you in a better place. You don't know how to have a conversation. If the money situation isn't right. What have you done to resolve anything or to make the relationship better?
Just being together, I guess. That's all I can say.
Judge told her, I do everything. If it was not for me, y'all wouldn't see him today. I do everything. I take him to work. I pick him up. Sometimes I have to be at school at 8:30, 9 o'clock. I have to pick him up 12:45, 11:45, and then I still have to get up and get the kids ready, and he thinks I'm a machine.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
At least he's honest.
All I do is work.
All you do is work.
All I do is work.
But you don't bring home the money other than the light bill.
I bring the money home. I bring the light bill money and the food money because we got to eat.
Food money and the light
That's
bill
all. That's
money.
all I can do with what I make. I mean, that's basically all I can do.
When you leave, when you pick up that duffel bag and go, where do you head?
Either my mama's house or my grandma's house. That's a shame. I know it.
He has women in his life that will save him every time, and that's the only stepping stone we have. He never has to face our issues because he just runs to the next person and tells them what he's mad. He doesn't tell them why he got kicked out. he tells them why he's mad at me because of what I said during the argument. So they think I'm the bad guy. Everybody thinks that I'm this money-hungry heifer that just want his money, and I'm just sucking all his money. And truth be told,
he doesn't have any money.
Exactly.
Right.
Neither one of us really have money. We have enough money to live comfortably. We have a home, a car. The kids are good and fed. They look nice. That's what we have enough money for. We don't have leisure money. We don't have time to go out. We don't go out. Like, we're just a structured family, but I feel like it's more business.
Oh, you're not a structured family. You're not in the same zip code with structure or family. Just trust that. In divorce court, people tell me the most intimate details of their lives. Join the conversation and share your experience on our Twitter page at Divorce Court and on our Facebook page. See how fans deal with their own relationships. The discussion can get heated. Don't miss it. I'm gonna start out with you, Mr. Brown. You need to be ashamed of yourself. I don't know how you could have a life where you have to depend on your mama, your grandmama, your relatives, or whatever random woman you happen to be with in order to survive. I don't know how you can feel good about that. I think women are crazy for allowing that to happen, to be a place for you to lay your head when the other woman that you're dealing with is mad at you for that moment. I would be embarrassed not to bring money into a household where there are children that I care about. I would be embarrassed to be the person who doesn't deliver anything, doesn't progress or anything like that. I'd be embarrassed. Now, apparently, the market out there is permissive of brothers like you getting by. You get phone numbers, I don't know how. You get women, I don't know who. But apparently the market is tight. And you don't have to offer much to have a whole lot of offers made to you. That being said, let me ask you this. Could you rise above bare minimum for me? Yes, could you just step up? You could skate by between your relatives and the girls and this, that, and the other. Why don't you try to do a little better? Just don't get by, you know, get better, get manly, something. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, ma'am.
How old are you?
31.
You ain't got your own crib or nothing, you know?
Nah.
It's coming with the light bill. Mrs. Chambers, let me tell you why I don't want to say angry, but distraught in your direction. You're scared to be alone. And you would rather be with any piece of somebody rather than being by yourself. And the sad part is, you know whatever little piece you're getting is probably taking more from you than he's giving. You're doing things for him. You are taking time for him from your children. He's not adding to you at all. And the fear of just not having a man, so you'll take any kind of man that can do whatever he wants. I mean, that's such a sad way to live. You're not divorcing a guy that you haven't seen forever. For some reason, you feel you need to be connected to a guy. You're a grown woman. You're a beautiful woman. You're an educated woman. You are going to school. You have 2 children. You can make it on your own. You don't have to be a punching bag for somebody else's ego in order to be okay. Let that go. Let that go. You are not defined by who you're with or if you have anybody at all. You are defined by the progress that you make within yourself and for your children. And he's blocking your light. You spending your time chasing around a guy who's got nothing to offer you. He doesn't even have fidelity to offer you. And you're taking it. You know what I mean? Nothing better. You could do bad all by yourself. And you could always do better. Don't let fear stop you. Don't let the idea of being alone make you feel like a failure. I think a lot of women feel like that. If they're not attached to some dude, somehow, some way, they have failed and they are not safe. That is not true. You are worth more than you've sold yourself for. And I hope you really believe that. There will be no recovery in this matter. It is so ordered. Being with a man that brings nothing positive to you is not better than being alone. Don't be afraid of it. You may like it. Call us toll free at 1-877-311-2222